right underneath that, ground maintenance, lists a salary of $55,133. The number 1, when I go over to the total category, it says $48,173. So it's understated by approximately $7,000, and that $48,000 carries down. So the $275 that's totaled in full-time staffing detail models D, instead of $275,618, should be $284,666. That's not so much a question, other than I'm just looking for, you know, am I doing math right?
You are.
Okay. On big page 81, part-time staffing detail models B, under ground maintenance, we have someone working 48, I assume it's one individual, it doesn't say how many individuals, but a ground maintenance individual working 48 hours per week. Because they're part-time, there's overtime, I presume. I calculated overtime into my calculations, at 8 hours of overtime per week, an additional $4,800.
So there would be no overtime, because a lot of times with part-time staff, we will keep them at about 19 hours. And being that you're having a facility like this, we would probably have multiple part-time staffing. So we wouldn't go over, we wouldn't do overtime.
You'd have two part-time ground maintenance?
We could have 2 or 3 part-time maintenance that would split shifts or work weekends or such.
Okay. Well, for the purpose of what I'm about to get into, I added $4,800, assuming that there's 8 hours of overtime. With that, I got a different subtotal when it came to that category. If you add 36,720, 32,516, instead of 44,431, I had calculated 48,136. You shouldn't come to 76,000. You should come to, at least with the numbers there, you should come, I think, to 113,667. If you add in my 4,000, then you come out to 117,372, which kind of follows down. Instead of the total near the bottom of 87,793, it should be adding my 4, 133,069. So there seems to be a difference. I don't think those columns, all these totals, are adding up.
Looks like you're correct.
And then if I go
Mary, can I just ask you a quick question, Shawn? We have the presentation in front of us. Is that provided digitally so the audience can see what we're talking about when we go page to page?
I don't have a digital copy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thanks.
That's okay.
On big page 82, I have a similar issue. Underground maintenance, we have an individual working 51 weeks. There seems to be a 4 that was forgotten. So instead of 44,431, it was tabulated as 4,431. And then when I add all that numbers, the subtotal for that category should be 156,931. Follow that down to the total after benefits and the private party guide. Instead of 136,249, should be 181,525. So there seems to be a difference there of 25,000.
So the hourly rate times the weeks.
I'm just adding, if you just add the numbers in the total column.
They forgot a 0 on the 1.
They forgot a 4. It's supposed to be 44,431. My other issue is when you add up those 4 numbers, the subtotal on the report says 120,211. If you add up those numbers as they're incorrectly displayed, it should be 116,931. So even that number is not correct. Where do I want to go to next? On big page 87, we get into the revenues category. From my calculations and going through this, and I'll show you my work, these seem to be overstated by approximately $9,000. Under fees, fees seems to be overstated. Programs, you'll see a 12 little footnote. If you follow that footnote down, it says reflects an average of 125 participants per month, paying an average of $50 per month. So if I do 125 times 50 times 12, I should come up to 75,000, but yet this report says 79,000. a difference of 4,000. And then under rentals seems to be overstated as well. And if you follow me to, I'll show you, for daily fees on big page 90, under admissions, we have the fees, the number of individuals we anticipate paying those fees on a daily basis, the revenue generated by those individuals paying those fees on a daily basis. Under days, and this kind of gets back to my very first question, under days, we have 358 days. But the facility won't be open 358 days. If we have account for holidays and every Sunday, we should have, I think, 307 days. So instead of 4,296, I believe it should be 3,684. So that's overstated by $612. Under program revenue and expenses on big page 91, the average monthly fee actually is reflected correctly here at $75,000. So somehow that $75,000 wasn't flowed over to the main revenue page that what I referenced in big page 87. And then on big page 92, towards the bottom, private party rental revenue generation. We anticipate 4 private parties per month. There's 12 months in the year. Each of those parties is paying $200. 4 times 12, the number of parties by the number of months, should equal 48, but we have 96. So it looks like we doubled it somehow. But if you take that 48, multiply that by the 200, we should get 9,600 instead of the $14,400. So that seems to be overstated by $4,800. No, I'm looking under this one. The private party. No, not below here. Private party rental revenue generation. Just the fee for the party.
Per party.
So if I take those and add those up back to page 87, instead of 168,856, that total number at the very bottom should be 159,444. And now I'm going to bring it all around. Thank you for sticking with me. When it comes to,
Page.
give me 1 second, I'm getting there. Going back to big page, this is probably the easiest one, big page 45 and 46. And this shows just the year 1 through year 5, expenses versus revenue, the difference. So to put this more in perspective and do all the math, under year 1, instead of expenses of 623, the expenses should be 668,926. The revenues, instead of 168,856, should be 159,444. So instead of a difference of $454,794, our difference is actually much significantly larger. It's $509,484, which is a difference of $54,688. If I do the math on option D, which I did not, the expenses instead of 707,858 should be 762,182.
What page is it?
I'm sorry, on big page 46, the next page. 762,182. Revenues of 159,444, because the revenues are stagnant across both options. So a difference of 602,738.
Say that one again.
A difference of the difference is 602,738. Which, I don't know, do math, 63,000? So we're off by $63,000. If you want to extrapolate, if these numbers are so important, we're using these numbers to base everything else off of them. If you want to extrapolate these errors over the course of 30 years, option B is off $1.7 million. So the number is over 30 years is worse by $1.7 million. For option D, so 30 years, instead of 13.5 million, it's 15.2. And under option D, instead of operational loss of, or estimated shortfall of 15.9, it's really 18.1. So we're off $2.2 million. So which gets me to my question.
Now, that's in the operational, right, Shawn? Is that right? We're off on that on the operational?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the operational shortfall.
Page 47.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. Big page 47 is what I was last referencing. So with all that, how can I have any confidence in any of these numbers?
I apologize. I have no excuse for the math errors.
I wanted to point out one last thing. But when it came to, on big page 88 and big page 89,
Hang on,
there's,
Shawn.
sorry.
88, let me get there. Okay, there we go.
There's a revenue and expense comparison model for both Model B and Model D. In the paragraph between the two charts, for Model B, it says it anticipates operational expenses are anticipated to increase at a rate of 1% to 2% per year over this 5-year span. And that's correct. These actually, the way these numbers are, although technically the numbers are incorrect, but they do go up 1% from year 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And it says, please note that the revenue anticipates a 10% increase year over year from year 1 to 2, a 5% increase from 2 to 3, 3% increase from 3 to 4, a 2% increase from 4 to 5. That's accurately reflected here in these numbers as they were calculated. When I go over to Model D, in that same paragraph, the expense, the gradual increase in expenses is the same, 1% to 2%, although we take the low of 1% and hold that constant. I take that back. Instead of year 4 and 5, it's 2%. But when it comes to revenues, we state a 5% increase from years 1 to 2, 4% from 2 to 3, 2% from 3 to 4, 2% from 4 to 5. So we anticipate, even though when it comes to our revenue, we assume all of our numbers are more or less stagnant, but we're referencing different revenue increases from year to year. But when I follow that down into the numbers, it's not reflected in the numbers. The numbers actually show an increase like Model B, 10%, 5%, 3%, 2%. So the numbers don't follow the description above either. And that's everything I found.